Hi, and welcome to another show on Who Said Photography. Today we are interviewing Ron Hanscomb. Ron Edwards Handcomb, as some people may remember him. We'll be back in just a second. Okay, Ron, so you've told me this story, and I think it's an awesome story. How did you get started in photography?
Well, I found a camera in Stanley Park one day.
Okay, what do you mean you found it? Just lying on the road? Or?
It was sitting on a bench. Nobody around, so I took the camera, and Elvis Presley was in town that night at the P&E. I went down and took pictures of him, and one turned out. But before that, I met him downstairs in the underneath the seats, right? In the basement down below. He was doing a radio interview with Red Robinson, so I waited for him to come out before he went into the audience. And he came over and talked with me, asked what I'm doing. I had a P&E badge on because I was parking cars for the P&E at that time.
How'd you get into the P&E?
Well, I got in free because I had my badge on. I got into the stadium through the back door kind of thing. Because I knew where Elvis was going to be under the stadium, right? So I waited to talk to him. Well, actually, he came over to talk to me first, eh? So we talked about the P&E and what's going on there and stuff. And we got a picture of us under the light bulb. And I didn't know if it was going to turn out with that camera I had, because I didn't know anything about cameras too much at the time, eh? But he suggested I should get a flash for my camera. It might take better pictures in the dark, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So next day I went in the drugstore and looked at flashes, but they wouldn't fit my camera, just a little box camera, so I had to buy a new 35mm camera, so that kind of got me into taking pictures.
And then from there it blossomed into a 60-year career.
Yeah, so I went to work after a few years later with Mr. Frederick. He worked all over BC and Alberta.
Mr. Frederick, though, that was a studio here in Campbell River.
Well, no, he was in Vancouver.
Okay, so he was in Vancouver at the time.
Yeah. So I went to work for him, and we worked. He made me a crew manager. And we took a crew all over BC to every town and booked people for baby pictures and family pictures and everything. So I got to know a lot of people in BC and Alberta. Then he retired. After a couple of years working with him, he retired. So I went and asked him if I could just continue his name, because everybody knew Frederick Studios.
Okay.
He said, yeah, it's okay, and he gave me a bunch of stuff I could use, eh? So I went around myself to all the towns, knocked on the door, said, hi, it's Frederick's back again. And I booked hundreds of people taking pictures. Actually, I've done over 22,000 photo sessions now, over 100,000 people, and over 1,000 weddings.
Okay, so was Frederick's studio here in Campbell River?
We opened up here.
So you moved from Vancouver to Campbell River?
Yeah, after a while I moved over. Well, I worked out of Gabriel Island for a couple of years before I moved to Campbell River, eh? But I got pictures here of the two studios we had in Willow Point, eh?
Oh, okay.
15 years there. We ran the post office in our studio too for 10, 15 years, eh?
Oh, isn't that interesting? So
and I opened up downtown for a while too, right behind London Drugs.
Right behind London Drugs, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, okay.
And I moved home. Got everything. I got 70 photo albums like these books I got here. One's all Bella Bella. People, I just about done everybody in Bella Bella.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Done weddings up there.
So you
Queen Charlotte Islands everywhere.
Oh, okay. So basically you traveled Vancouver Island knocking on doors.
Yeah.
And booking appointments. Now, when was this, though?
Up and down every street in every town.
Okay, what year was this?
Knocking on doors. Well, I started in '69, first time I came to Campbell River. But it was a couple years later, in the '70s, that I started my own business. And I used to be DJ at weddings, too, eh? That got me started taking wedding pictures. Because while I'm there playing DJ, I could take a few wedding pictures.
Oh, okay.
So that went over pretty good, too. So I got into the wedding business, taking pictures at weddings.
So how many weddings do you think you've done?
Done over 1,000 weddings.
Over 1,000 weddings?
But people like the music I play. You know, I had one guy give me a $100 bill one night for playing a song for him.
Oh, really?
Maybe he thought it was $1, I don't know, but...
While you're shooting a wedding?
Yeah. Well, I played a song for him, and he gave me a $100 bill for playing that song.
That's pretty cool.
I got lots of tips for $10 and $20 for playing tunes for people.
Well, good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. So beside Elvis, who is your most famous person you've taken pictures of?
I done everybody. I got books full. That big book there is full. People signed up for me. I got everybody in there. I've had Johnny Cash sign up for me, Waylon Jennings and Marty Robbins and
Chris
Merle Haggard,
Christopherson.
Buck Owens, Ray Price, Willie Nelson, everybody. Just about everybody you could name off. I toured Buddy Knox on the island here in 1977. Eh?
Actually toured with Buddy Knox?
Buddy Knox, yeah. Party Doll, remember his big hit?
Right.
Plus I had 7 or 8 tours of myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I made
okay,
up
so
a
you
tour.
were a musician as well.
Tour guide. I put some of my pictures in the book. No, I just put the shows together and toured them around BC
Oh, okay.
7 or 8 times, eh?
Taking photographs at the
And
same
I toured
time?
Buddy Knox on the island, and I took Waylon Jennings to a show in Kamloops
Oh,
one
okay.
time too, eh? So I worked with a lot of singers, worked on the shows. I even ran lights for them sometimes too, eh?
Well, why didn't you set the
For their
lights up
show.
today in the studio?
Yeah, I could have run the lights for you here maybe, if I can remember how to do it. You know? Yeah, and when we hit our 20,000 photo session, I gave a 3D camera to the winner, eh? The 20,000
Oh, really?
person I did, yeah.
And on your 20,000th photo session,
I'm up to over 22,200 now.
who
I
were you
think.
taking pictures of?
Or 400 maybe it is.
So
eh?
who was?
I
do you-
can't
can you
remember. It
the-
probably tells you the lady's name in there from Campbell River, eh?
Oh, okay.
But I've kept all my negatives. I got a whole wall full of negatives, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Like, those are all your negatives.
Yeah.
And how many of these books do you have? 70 books full
70. I got 70,
70
books,
books
like
full
that,
of-
full of pictures.
full of pictures.
I got one on Alert Bay too. Everybody in Alert Bay. When I was up there showing it to one of the guys that works in Alert Bay, he says, "This book ought to be in our museum." He said,
He's got a point.
"Bella Bella." I got everybody in Bella Bella.
He's got a point on that one. Okay.
But I've done a lot of people. Probably every town you go to, there'll be people that have pictures of mine hanging on their walls. that I
Possibility.
took of their families, babies, weddings, everything, eh?
Yeah, no, I understand that as well.
And I've seen in the paper sometimes when people have had a house fire, all they got to save was their pictures. Pictures I took.
Pictures you took, yeah. No, I understand that as well. I understand that as well. So,
Oh, I've done some record album covers too. I got one here to show you, eh? That's a local girl, Patty Mayo.
oh, okay.
But I've done about 6 or 7 record albums for different people.
For different people here in Campbell River?
Oh, I
or-
started doing interviews with some of these people too for a radio station in Edmonton, eh?
Oh, okay.
CJCA FM it was. They just started country music up there, so I started interviewing people and bring them into the radio station. And they put them on the radio.
Who's your most famous person you interviewed?
Well, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, you know, all those guys.
Okay,
Bill Haggard, I'd
you
done
were working
everybody.
with the big people.
Interviewed them all.
Oh,
The
what was your most-
producer of the show let me in the back door so I could get an interview.
Okay,
with
so what was
everybody.
your, let's go this way. What was your most famous or most fun interview that you did?
Well, I did Waylon a couple of times. He was always good to me, you know.
Okay. Who was your favorite person to photograph?
Well, it's hard to say. I've done so many people. Loretta Lynn was nice too. Loretta Lynn just had a stroke a while back, eh? And then she just took a fall. So I sent her a couple of good get well cards.
Get well
eh?
cards?
Yeah.
So you're that close to
'Cause
Loretta
I
Lynn?
know. I got her address. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Well, I
pretty-
got pictures of us. I did a radio show with her, of course, too. I got pictures of us together. And, oh, I got a picture of her. It's in my book here. It's in both my books, I guess. When she first started out, eh? She was singing. Ray Price asked her to come up and sing a couple of songs before she made records. Willie
Right.
Nelson was guitar player at that time before he made records, too, eh? So a lot of these people I met when they were just starting out, even Kenny Rogers, eh?
Oh, okay. You met Kenny Rogers before you
Yeah,
started out.
I got a radio interview with him, too.
Let's go back to the photography side. Let's go back to the
Taking
photography
pictures.
side.
Yeah.
So when you were in the, did you actually, I know you were traveling around all Vancouver, but the studio here, did you actually run a complete studio?
Yep, we had a photo studio in Campbell River for many years.
Invite people in?
Yep, we used to book them in for pictures, and people would come in and do the passport pictures and baby pictures, whatever you want. I used to do some of the girls' pictures to send to the province too, eh?
All right, for the newspaper.
Smile of the
Smile
Day.
of the Day?
I sent about 10 girls in, and they put them all, every girl I sent in, they put them in the paper in the province.
In the province.
Yep.
Well, that's good.
That girl was in just the day before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
She sent me a postcard after that picture was in the paper, and She said, "This is the best Christmas I ever had. I got my picture in the paper."
December 24th, 1987.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the photography side. So what equipment did you have? Did you have candlelight, or did you actually have strobes
Well,
back
I had
then?
the RZ Mamiya camera, professional camera, big
Okay.
camera. And when I was at weddings, when people saw my camera, they'd get out of the way, you know, because it was such a big camera.
Oh, okay. Is that the one you used in the studio as well?
I've been in places like when you take pictures in a church there, the
Yep.
minister said, "There'll be no flash pictures here, except for Mr. Frederick Studios here. He's allowed to take pictures."
He's allowed to take pictures, correct. Yeah, no, I understand that as well. Now, would that be a medium format camera, 4x5, or a...
It was, the negatives were large negatives.
Yeah, so it's probably a medium format, I would think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were large negatives, eh? And I
So-
still got all the negatives, eh? You saw the picture on the
Yeah.
wall there, didn't you?
Yeah, we've
I got a whole wall full of negatives.
way full of
Over
negatives.
1,000 weddings there, yeah.
Now, has anybody ever come back to ask you to reprint anything that you've photographed?
Sometimes, yeah. Some people have been asked to, they want a copy of the pictures I did, or their wedding pictures. I've sold a few negatives to people that wanted all their negatives too, eh?
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
actually sold the negatives? That's usually us
Yeah.
photographers, we don't sell our negatives, but then again,
Well, most photographers don't, or else the photographer may ask $50 for one negative, eh?
yeah.
I got $30 or $50 for all of them.
Okay. So way back then, what would you charge for a studio sitting?
Well, I had a coupon. When I went out, I take my book. This was my sales book, you might say. That
Yeah.
I could show some pictures of people. Here, I'm not sure if that's you there. Is that you there?
No, that's probably not
Oh,
me.
that's not you. eh?
Might be.
But after I showed a few pictures of what we're doing, I'd show them the coupon. We're booking people down the next day or two for pictures, and I'd give them a time to come in to wherever I took pictures and collect the $20 deposit. Well, that was the session fee, eh?
$20?
But the coupon I had before this, I'd get a free 8x10 with the session, eh?
Oh,
But
okay.
after a while, I changed it because people order packages, eh?
Well, what I find was interesting on this is you'd pack up your whole studio and you'd go to Saybird for a day.
Right. I would take pictures anywhere. I would do it in the hotel lobby or get a room there, or some hotels let me use their banquet room.
Right.
Or I'd set up in the park, tell all the people to come to the park tomorrow, you know, come down at 10 o'clock, 10:30, whatever. Well, usually I book them every 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I would do 30 or 40 sessions a day,
Wow.
booking all these people. The best day I did one time was 33 people. And then one time when I went to Bella Bella, I booked 45 people, and I thought, oh, well, I better quit for the day. That's enough. Well, I'm having supper. 5 more people came in and wanted bookings to have their pictures taken too. So I ended up with 50 people that day. They all came in the next day for their pictures taken, or maybe 2 days, you know.
Now, with that many people, did you have any help?
Yep,
Did you have any helping you?
I had help, and I got pictures of my helpers in my book even. from a way back. That's one girl there. And that girl there, Tanya,
Okay.
and Jennifer worked with me for a couple of years, and I got a wife that works with me for 35 years.
For 35 years? Yeah, okay. So that's pretty good then. So you'd pack everything
Yeah.
up from the studio, head off to Saybird,
There's my boys when they were little.
Bella Bella, and take pictures.
Yeah, I got to tell you, one time a lady phoned me to have her daughter's wedding pictures taken in Masset, I think, with Queen Charlotte Islands
Right.
back in those days. I said, well, I can't come up Saturday because I got a wedding here in town to do. So she said, well, come up Sunday and we'll take the pictures. So I went to Port Hardy to catch the plane, and it was foggy. The plane didn't pick me up, so I phoned her again. Couldn't get a ride. She said, that's okay, come up the next day. So I went to Vancouver to make sure I got the plane up there, right?
Right.
And we landed in Port Hardy and went up there. And guess what? She took me to the church, and they had all the people there waiting. And the bride came down the aisle. We did the whole wedding over again 2 days later, just so I could take the pictures.
Take the pictures for the wedding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Boy, I've had lots of stories to tell of different weddings. You know, I've even had to drive some brides to their wedding because their dad wouldn't do it. One time, the dad got mad at his daughter and wouldn't drive her to the wedding. I don't know what happened. Maybe he said, I told you not to marry that guy. I don't know what happened.
So you were the guy that took my daughter to the wedding. You
So
wouldn't be popular.
I had to drive her to the wedding in my dirty old van, you know.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah, well.
Oh, I had one bride, the only bride that ran away on me one time. I went to the house before the wedding to take pictures, and they said, no wedding today, the bride took off. She ran away to Ontario, but she came back 2 months later and married the guy anyways.
That makes for some interesting photo shoots.
Yeah.
No, I could see that one right there. So,
Yeah.
with all that knowledge behind you, with digital cameras coming out now, what are your thoughts on the digital side
Well,
of
that's the
photography?
problem. Everybody's got a camera now. When I went around to the houses, hardly anybody had a camera, right? I would hardly ever hear a lady say, oh, my husband's got a good camera. So, you know, I couldn't book her for any pictures if her husband's got a good camera. That didn't happen very often, maybe once a week.
Okay.
But now if you went around booking, everybody's got a camera, you wouldn't get much.
No, that's true.
I don't
but
think.
even back then, I know Lars isn't here, but Lars used to develop his own film and things like that. So would you
Yeah.
develop your own
I
film?
didn't. No, I sent that to Professional Lab. It was in Winnipeg first.
Oh, okay.
Vancouver did some. for
Did
me
some, so
too,
you'd send your stuff out.
Yeah, Winnipeg did all the professional photographers across Canada. Winnipeg Photo Lab.
Oh, really?
They did all the professional photographers across Canada in those years, like in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't exactly shut down, but they transferred over to just doing school pictures after a while, I guess because the photographer's business was going down, you know.
Well, certainly the world has changed from 80s, you know, a
Yeah.
lot of the studios have gone anyways, like Walmart's
Yeah.
no longer has studios, Simpson Sears and places like this no longer have in studios anymore.
Yeah.
So there's
The
more
guy
more
from
things
Winnipeg Photo used to come out and visit us every year, eh?
Okay.
He was always good to us. He'd take us out for Chinese food here and everything, you know. So they were always good to us there.
Oh, okay.
I've done weddings in other towns too, not just in BC. I've been in the States for weddings, like Nashville and down near Seattle, and even Mexico I did one wedding.
So these people would call you to come down to Mexico, or?
Well, the guy in Mexico used to live in Camel River. Eh?
Okay.
He went to Ontario chasing a girl, but she didn't want to get married, so he went to Mexico and found a girl down there. So he phoned me up, come down to his wedding pictures.
Wedding
eh?
down there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, did you do any famous people's wedding? You didn't do Elvis's weddings, or?
No, I didn't know Elvis when he got married. I
Oh,
only met him
okay.
that one time. Been to his house a few times. Took
Seriously?
pictures at his house. There's pictures in that Nashville book.
You've actually been to
There.
Elvis's house?
Yeah, toured through the whole house. You weren't allowed to go upstairs to the bedroom though.
Okay.
Just the ground floor.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't Elvis giving you the tour through the house?
Oh no, it was after he died. Eh?
Okay, oh,
I
okay.
did the tour of the house.
Alrighty. Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a thing? But yeah, I know you're shooting digital now. Things are easy
Yeah, I got
for
a little
you?
digital camera just for myself, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what are you shooting? What are you shooting now? What do you like to shoot?
Well, I just got a little. I
Well, you have a
traveled
point
around.
and shoot, but I know you're always.
I
you're
just got a little camera to travel around with. I don't use it in the studio room too much. It's a little Canon, eh?
No, it's a. Yeah,
I can
it's a
zoom
little
up with
shoot.
it and things.
So what do you like to shoot now that you're retired?
Oh, you know my professional camera? I don't think I've used it for 5 years or more. I can't remember the last time I used it.
You still have
It's
it?
getting too heavy for me to carry around.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still got it. It's boxed up in my old travel bag, eh?
In your old travel bag. Can you get film for it?
I got film in the fridge I've never used for years either.
How many rolls of film would you have left?
I don't know.
How many rolls of
What I
film would
got.
you go through in a week
Oh, I can't
in
remember.
the studio?
Well, I would use a roll of film for a session or two, depending how many pictures you need to take. I would take maybe 5 or 6 shots for each photo session. So if you got about 10 or 12 pictures on the roll,
Yeah.
that would do me a couple sessions. But I had 2 backings for my camera, so I could take one backing off and put the other backing on and keep taking pictures.
And keep
Sometimes
going.
my assistant would load the camera for the next, or load the backing, you know,
Oh, okay, for the next set.
person coming in or something.
No, I understand that. Sure,
Yeah.
that's what assistants are for.
Yeah.
That's what assistants are definitely for.
Oh, I made a list of all the towns I worked at. I won't read them all, but I don't know how many towns there are all over BC. Every town in BC that I took pictures at, eh?
Well, like you said, you had 20,000, you've passed, what, 20,000 studio sessions?
22,000. I passed
22,000
22,000 now. Photo
Okay.
sessions. Yeah. Well,
So-
some of them are in my studio, of course, and some are out of town.
Out of town.
Everywhere.
That's a lot. So how long did you run the studio here before you retired?
Well, in Campbell River, we had Frederick Studios here for 20 or 30 years, I suppose.
So when did we
I
finally?
first started here in '69, but I didn't
Yeah.
open up a studio until 1980, maybe it was, around in there.
Okay.
So, I think
So from
that's
'69 to sometime in
the
'80.
'70s, I just worked out of my house, because I was traveling on the road,
Right.
taking pictures, so I didn't really need a studio here in town. Although I did a lot of people's pictures in town, eh?
Yep.
I thought Campbell River would be a good picture taking town because the first time I hit Campbell River, I went down one block and booked 7 people. 7 different houses I booked for pictures, and I thought, wow, this town's going to be good. So after a while, I thought this is where I wanted to live.
Oh, okay.
So I set up in Campbell River and opened the studio here.
Open the studio here. Okay.
Yeah, so we got a lot of people in the studio.
Okay. So
But a lot of people might remember, they might not remember me, but they might remember that Frederick Studios took the picture. Eh?
right. Right.
They just got to look on their picture they got hanging on the wall, and it might say Frederick Studio on it.
Would you stamp the back of the image?
Stamp the back. Yeah, usually I put the date on and Frederick Studio.
Stamp the
stamped on
back.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's
Yeah,
good
okay.
to know, when you have a picture, it's good to look on the back to
Back.
see what year it was taken, eh?
Yep.
So I've done that with a lot
Well, I
of
can
pictures
understand
I
that.
do, yeah.
We have to do that as well. Stamp the back, or well, nowadays it's all digital, so
Yeah.
the digital footprint has the date and then the time actually in it. So
Yeah, put
you
that.
actually have a show. This is what kills me. You've actually got a show coming up.
Yeah, I gotta show some of these pictures I took, like with George Jones and
Yeah, but you've got a show coming up. You've got
Terry and Susan Jacks. I got Waylon Jennings there. I did 2 radio shows with Waylon Jennings. There's Roy Orbison there, different people. I got people here that I've done in different towns. Every year I went to the towns, they got me to take their family pictures every year. I've done a lot of the old cars in town here, baby pictures. We used to do wedding
families.
shows and stuff, Just about got a bit of, I used to do a lot of pictures here for the newspaper in town too, for real estate people and car
Yep.
salesmen and all that, eh?
Yep.
So I got all their pictures here. Got all the samples. And the one book there, that big book I got there, it's got everybody in it. Tommy Hunter sat up with me one night till 3 o'clock in the morning going through that book. And he was telling me stories about everybody I got in my book.
Oh, really? Tommy Hunter.
Tommy Hunter.
That's a name we haven't used before.
That book wasn't complete when I met him. I've added a lot of pictures since then, eh? I don't know exactly where it was now, but it was way back here someplace. It wasn't even the whole book. There's Eddie Rabbit. I got stuck in the room. Eddie Rabbit, he signed it for me. Then I put his pictures in later. I got stuck in his room one night after a show. We went to his room to get a radio interview, and there was 200 people in the hallway trying to see him. And he kept phoning the desk saying, "Isn't there any security around here?" Everybody knocking on his door.
Knock on his door.
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually have a show coming up here in Campbell River.
Yeah, the restaurant, Island Grind, is it called? Yeah, Island Grind it's called, down at the Elchie and Dogwood corner. They want me to put up my pictures on their walls there, eh? Starting March 16th.
Starting March 16th.
For a few weeks there, maybe. I'm not sure how long it'll be.
No, that's good. That's good. So we'll be able to review the history of...
So I've been working, yeah. We saw a picture of it here, eh?
Yep.
I got some of the pictures ready here already
You're all ready to
to
go.
hang up. Yeah.
All righty.
So we got to figure that out yet, too, eh?
All right. Anything else you'd like to say, the final words to a reviewer?
Well, I got a lot of pictures up in my studio, too. And I got a wall full of music.
don't still have
and
a studio, do you?
pictures. I still got a studio, yeah. I've done a few passport pictures lately. It's about all I've done, eh?
Where is your studio?
I'm on Evergreen Road, eh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by Helchie. We used to be in the bush there on the corner, but we sold that area and they built patio homes in there now, eh?
Oh, okay.
So I'm just across the road from there now.
Interesting. Okay.
But some people know where I'm at, eh?
Oh, good for you. So you still have clients?
Yeah, I've had the odd person in, you know, not too much. Don't do too many photo sessions, just mostly passport pictures, you know. The odd picture for somebody, for the newspaper or something, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I noticed you've been running around to the new hospital, taking pictures inside of there, and
Yeah, I take a few pictures around town.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to remember all these people I took pictures for, eh?
Yep. Well, anyways, Ron, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, yeah.
We've
Nice to
basically
see
run
you.
out of time.
Oh,
We've run out
okay.
of time on the show, so
Can't stay another hour or two, eh?
no, they're going to kick us out of the studio. But anyways, it was lovely,
Thank you.
lovely talking to you. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, thank you.
We'll have to think about getting you back sometime.
Yeah.
And thanks to you guys for watching us here on Shaw TV, and we'll see you next time on Who Said Photography. Cheerio.